You prayed, and nothing happened. No answer, no sign, no voice, just silence. The kind of silence that feels heavier than words. The kind that slowly presses on your chest until you begin to wonder if anyone is listening at all. You expected something, a breakthrough, a feeling, a whisper from heaven. But instead, all you got was emptiness. And somewhere in that quiet, a question began to form. God, where are you? But what if the silence you're experiencing isn't what you think it is? What if God hasn't stopped speaking and you've just misunderstood how he speaks in the silence? There's a kind of pain that comes from suffering, but there's a deeper kind of pain that comes from suffering while feeling completely alone. You pray at night, hoping something will change by morning. You whisper words into the darkness, holding on to faith with trembling hands. But day after day, nothing shifts. The silence stretches longer than you expected. And slowly it begins to do something to you. It makes you question things you were once certain about. It makes you wonder if God hears you, or worse, if he's chosen not to respond. Silence doesn't just test your patience, it tests your faith. But here's what many people don't realize. You are not alone in this. Some of the strongest people in all of Scripture walk through seasons where God felt completely silent. Job lost everything, his family, his health, his future. And when he cried out, there was no immediate answer, just silence. David, a man after God's own heart, wrote words full of anguish. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? These are not the words of a weak man. These are the words of someone in deep pain, reaching into what feels like an empty sky. And then there is Jesus. In his final moments hanging on the cross, he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" These are some of the most haunting words ever spoken. Words that sound like abandonment, words that sound like silence. And yet, even in that moment, God was not absent. Even in that silence, something profound was happening, something the world couldn't yet see. So what does this tell us? It tells us that silence is not a sign of abandonment. Because if silence meant God was gone, then Job was abandoned. David was abandoned. Even Jesus was abandoned. But we know that's not true. Silence doesn't mean God has left you. It means God is working in ways you cannot yet see or understand. There are things he does in silence that he simply does not do in noise. There are depths of transformation that only happen when everything else goes quiet. Sometimes God is not answering your prayers immediately because he is forming you. We want instant results, quick clarity, immediate breakthroughs. But God is far more concerned with who you are becoming than what you are receiving. And transformation rarely happens in comfort. It happens in waiting. It happens in uncertainty. It happens in silence, where your faith is no longer held up by feelings but by choice. Other times, God is inviting you into a deeper kind of trust, not a faith that depends on constant reassurance or emotional confirmation, but a faith that stands even when nothing makes sense. A faith that keeps walking forward even when the path is unclear. Because real faith is not proven when everything is going well. It is revealed when everything feels uncertain, and you still choose to believe. And sometimes the truth is this: God has already spoken through his word, through his promises, through truths that remain constant even when your situation is not. In the silence, those promises can feel distant, like they don't apply to you anymore. But the silence is not proof that God has changed. It is the space where you are invited to hold on to what he has already said, even when you cannot feel it. Here's what most people miss. The silence you fear may actually be the place where God is closest. When everything else is stripped away, every distraction, every feeling, every visible sign, you are left with something raw and real. Faith that doesn't depend on what you see. Faith that doesn't need constant confirmation. Faith that holds on even in the dark. And that kind of faith is powerful. It's not loud. It's not flashy, but it is unshakable. It doesn't collapse when answers don't come because it is rooted in something deeper than circumstances. It is rooted in trust. God is not ignoring you. He is not rejecting you. He is not distant in the way you think. The silence you are experiencing is not empty. It is full, full of unseen work, full of quiet transformation, full of something that one day will make sense in a way you cannot yet understand. So if you're in a season where God feels silent, don't walk away. Don't give up. Stay. Hold on. Keep praying, even when it feels like your words are going nowhere. Keep believing, even when your emotions say otherwise. Because silence is not the end of your story. It is part of the process. One day you will look back on this season, not with confusion, but with clarity. You will realize that God was there the whole time, that He never left, that He was working in ways you couldn't see, shaping something in you that could not have been formed any other way. If this message spoke to you, if you've ever felt God go silent and didn't understand why, then this channel is for you. Subscribe and let's walk this journey of faith together, because you are not alone. Not now. Not ever.